Hey y'all, welcome back to Rolling with Stone. So today is definitely a completely different video that you guys have gotten from me before. And this is basically just our story of our experience through Hurricane Harvey. Telling us about it.
Did you introduce me? She ain't even introduced me.
This is Vicky, my best friend. So if you saw, we did a couple of videos together. I'm so sorry. This is my best friend Vicky. And we're going to share our story of pretty much how it went down. But she's been in a couple of videos with me before, so, you know.
It's me.
Now, you guys know that I am a resident of Houston, Texas, was born and raised here, been here my entire life. And the devastation from this storm it just completely, totally caught us off guard, and this past week was probably, honestly, the worst week of my entire life. So we just wanted to kind of give you guys just a little bit of insight because, you know, it storms a lot on this side of America. And we remember when it was Hurricane Katrina came, which it wasn't too far from us. And we had a lot of questions like, why did this happen? And, you know, why didn't
they evacuate?
Yeah, why didn't they leave? And just all these questions we had. And, you know, now that we've gone through something even worse, you know, we kind of have a different outlook on it, and we kind of wanted to share our experience with you guys. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started with the media, how we were prepared, how we thought we were getting prepared.
Yeah, how they portrayed it.
Yeah.
They portrayed it as most hurricanes, because we do live in the Gulf Coast, so we are constantly, you know, we're used to getting hurricane, tropical storm, depressions, and we're used to it. Yeah. So it's almost kind of like, okay, another hurricane in the Gulf. Let's just go to the store, get water, food. You know, it's not going to be that bad. Yeah. You know, this is the same old.
Yeah. And it was the same here. I don't even watch the news, so I heard a few people talking about. I think Vicky called me and said, you know, you got food or whatever. We went to the gym that day, and I was like, well, when we leave the gym, I'll go to HEB, which is our local grocery store. Yeah. Went to HEB. It was insane, you guys. This was like a Wednesday or something. Yeah. Went to HEB. The parking, which is a huge parking lot. The parking lot was jam packed. The grocery store was jam packed. It was like people were in, I'm not gonna say panic mode at this point, but they were definitely in preparation mode. Like, all of the cases of waters were starting to become sold out. People were asking associates, could you go to the back and get more water? The bread aisle was gone.
Mm-hmm. Canned good aisle was gone.
It was just like, I'm like, okay, this is kind of getting real, but there have been instances where the news has told us to get prepared like this before. It was chaos. Grocery stores had nothing, and then we get a light drizzle.
Right.
Nothing happens, and that happens often here. You know, so it's one of those things like most people, when you ask them, are you prepared for the storm? Did you get water? Most people are just like, nothing's gonna happen. Yeah. I'm not gonna spend my money on all of that. And so after HEB, I went to Dollar Tree to get a couple more items that, like I said, they had started running out of stuff. So I went to Dollar Tree, and I saw people literally getting like 6 packs of waters. They didn't have a whole lot, and asking how much it was. And at this point, I'm getting a little nervous because I'm like, okay, some people can't afford to prepare for this. Right. You know, and they're going in there just at least trying to get what they can get. You know what I'm saying?
Now, mind you, the modules were showing that the hurricane was going to land south of Houston, which is in Corpus Christi, which it did. And it was basically telling us, the media was basically telling us to prepare for flooding, water, which is still the same thing. Yeah. But again, the modules were showing that the hurricane was going to hit Corpus Christi, which is south of Houston. So, you know, again, we still weren't too early.
Yeah. But we got a lot of food, a lot of water, and that's basically how we prepared for it.
And what else could we have done?
Yeah.
If y'all don't know, I'm a nurse, so I have patients that I take care of, and my job actually called me, and they basically said, hey, we're going to put you in a hotel, you and your family in a hotel close to your patients, so that you won't have trouble getting to them, just in case the storm does come and there is flooding. So I'm like, okay, cool, I get to stay in a hotel for the weekend, not knowing that it was going to be a catastrophe.
So Friday comes, I think that's when the hurricane hit.
Yeah, that's when the hurricane hit.
It was devastation in Corpus Christi.
Corpus Christi, it was
How
terrible.
far is that from us?
Corpus Christi, I think it's like 2 hours away.
It's like 2 hours away.
Maybe 200 something miles.
Yeah. So it's maybe a few miles away, a few hours away from us. We're in Houston. The hurricane actually hit in Corpus Christi.
Right.
Just from seeing on the news, complete devastation.
Yeah.
It started to rain here, but nothing too serious.
Yeah.
Because the hurricane hit and nothing too serious was happening here, we were like, oh, yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
So at this point, my grandmother came to my house because her neighborhood floods crazy. Even if it's a regular rain, it floods.
Right.
So she came to my house. I called my cousin to see where she was going to go. She ended up coming to the house too. I didn't want her to be by herself. And she brought more food. She brought even more food and water and everything. We were very prepared. We had tons of candles. We had tons of blankets to try. If the water started to come in, we can kind of soak up some water by the door and stuff like that. So we figured we were pretty prepared. If we lost power, I bought firewood and coals in case we had to cook on the barbecue pit outside, or in case I had to light my fireplace if the power went out. So we call ourselves being prepared.
Because that Saturday night was when all the strong bands of the hurricane started to come to Houston. And the storm was moving towards us, but we got all the bad side of the storm. They call it the bad side of the storm, but which is all the heavy rain bands. That's what we started to get. And there were tornadoes everywhere in the city.
Everywhere.
In the city.
It was tornadoes everywhere, tearing through neighborhoods, tearing through everything. It was the water started to creep up some, but it wasn't crazy. Like I could see that it's starting to flood in the street, but nothing too crazy. It wasn't getting too close to the house. We live in Houston. We're used to that.
Used to it, yeah.
So it wasn't too crazy, but the problem was it never freaking stopped raining. Like
it
kept
while
on.
The tornadoes, and this was Saturday.
People were going out to see the fight.
Yeah, people were going out to see the fight.
People did not stay home.
Yeah, people still went out.
But it wasn't raining hard.
It wasn't raining hard, and the roads weren't flooded completely yet.
Not yet completely, but from what I've heard from some people, they say when they left the fight,
when they left the fight,
it was like the grace of God that they made it home from the fight.
Yes.
The news was telling us to stay home, and the hurricane's coming and the rain is coming, because we didn't see it right. We're in Houston. We're used to, you tell us it's going to flood, we're going to see it right then and there.
Right.
Because it was so delayed, people went to the fight, people went out, people partied, people drank, and barely made it home because the water had came up so high.
Yes.
During the Mayweather fight.
The
water kept getting closer, and it started to get scary at this point. We didn't lose any power or anything, but the water just kept getting closer and closer, and the rain never stopped. Okay, so Sunday comes. It still haven't stopped raining. At this point,
it's flooded everywhere.
What I did was, at this point, I realized that the water could possibly come in, and we need to get out of here. I go outside to try to see how high it was. It was coming up almost over the tailpipes of the cars in driveways. So I said, let me walk through the neighborhood.
No.
It was pretty much like waist deep. So I needed to walk through the water maybe like a mile or two away, because it wasn't drivable at this point, but we wanted to see if we just had to, how far could we get? So I walked and walked until I could see the highest ground that was dry. And you guys, it wasn't really, we could probably make it to the main street. But I mean, just to get there out of my little section back here is impossible. The water was too high. And
with two kids.
I have I have a 5-year-old, and you guys know I have a 13-month-old now. And so I just, and mind you, my grandmother came too. And, at this point, I realized, okay, we're not going to be able to get out of here unless we get out through a boat or a helicopter at this point.
Right. I'm still at work. I'm safe. I'm at my patient's home. Only thing I pretty much did was just prepare my patients. I talked to them to discuss if a tornado was to come, where would we go? Where would I take my patient? And basically just safety, in their home, because I work in home hospice care setting. So that's what I'm doing. I'm pretty much safe and sound.
Yeah.
Back to you.
So it just won't stop raining, you guys. So the water is steady raining. It's steady raining. The water is getting closer. By this time, we've gotten the furniture up on tables, put everything, my studio. We had broken down the studio where I film and got everything up as high as we can get it in the tops of closets, on top of tables or whatever like that, just in case the water came in, because we didn't know. Our area does not flood over here. Period.
Yeah, it never floods.
But it could be a terrible storm. It's not gonna flood over here. My grandmother's neighborhood, a lot of places out here does, but not over here.
And I want you guys to understand that was what was so catastrophic about this storm, is that areas of Houston that has never flooded ever was flooded. Yeah. And that's when we realized that
shit's getting real.
It's getting real.
Yeah. Yeah. So the water kept coming at this point, coming. At this point, I see it feet away from the front door. Now, this is the thing. For those who've never been in hurricanes and floods, this is like my fourth one that I've been in. I've had to walk through a mile or two of water with water up to my neck and been bitten in the water and everything. I've done that before. I've never done it as a mother.
Right.
So it changes the whole dynamic of it all, and it goes from, okay, I can make it through this water, it'll be okay, to really scary with 2 kids and your grandmother. And at this point, we're looking all on social media. We still have power. We're looking all on social media, seeing people getting flooded out, people getting helicopter rescue, people doing boat rescues, and people putting phone numbers where to call if you're stuck in your house. This is the thing, you guys. You call 911, you call these rescue numbers, unless the water's already super high in your house, you're on the roof.
Yeah.
They're not coming to get you.
Right. At that point, I think the Cajun Navy was one of the first rescue people to come out and start helping with everything. But
Houston, of course, nobody could be prepared for this.
Right.
If they have 1,000 boats and there's 500,000 of us that need a boat and they only have 1,000 boats, everybody's pretty much shit out of luck.
Right.
So at this point, you call 911, like the water's coming. This is the thing about water, you guys. When you're in a flood, when it floods like this and it's a hurricane, when the water starts coming through the door, you can't stop it.
Right.
It starts coming in from everywhere, from the wall, in the cracks of the walls, from under the foundation, from the sides and the windows. It comes in everywhere, and it comes really, really fast. Like I said, I've been through this a few times before. So I was trying to get ahead of it. Like, this water's coming so close. We need to get out of here, because when it starts coming in, we're not going to be able to stop it. And I don't have a 2-story. So at this point, I got little kids, so I call 911. They're like, unless the water's in your house to a certain degree, we can't come out.
And also, people were saying that 911 wasn't working and this and this. They made it to where they put people in queues. So it's basically, you call 911, you're holding, and if you hang up, you lose your spot. And if you call back, you're all the way at the end of the line. So that was kind of why they were saying 911 and these numbers weren't working, where people weren't being patient and holding to where they need to, so they won't lose their spot, basically. And like she said, if you weren't in immediate danger, they
weren't sending boats for you or nothing. One of my clients, who's my neighbor, her brother was stuck in the floods, and he was in another part of town. And basically, they said, you're an able-bodied 33-year-old man. You're not our priority. We're going to get to the women and children first, which is understandable. But this is to let you guys, give you an idea of how it was going down out here.
Right.
Yeah. So, and it just was not enough, planes. It wasn't enough boats. They could, I don't even want to blame anybody, because it's no way you could be prepared for something like this. It was it's too many people in Houston to be prepared. So at this point, I start figuring out how I can get my kids through the water to the dry land, which is the nearest elementary school, which is like not even, probably like a mile away. So I was like, I could probably put them in like some plastic tub, because at this point the water is over their heads. It's like it's above my waist, and I'm 5'9". So it's way over their heads. So I'm like, we can probably put them in some plastic tubs or on something where they can float. Our kiddie pool had a hole in it, and then maybe I can push them towards the elementary school that had drier ground. And from there, maybe we can see if somebody can meet us somewhere and we can walk through the water. I could carry them and we can kind of make it the rest of the way. This is probably the scariest thing I had ever been through. But at this point, I was like, we're not getting stuck in here and water coming in and we can't go any higher. So we're getting the heck out of here by any means necessary. Now, just by the grace of God, as I was putting the kids in there and getting ready to push, there was a boat coming down the street. So there was literally men, a group of men in our neighborhood that got to, these men are awesome. Basically, it was some men who got together in the neighborhood and they were getting together. They found each other on Facebook and they had a group and they got boats together. They found boats in the neighborhood. They borrowed boats from neighbors, little rafts, canoes, and literally went up and down the streets in our neighborhood, knocking on doors to try to get people out who wanted to leave their home. So they didn't have enough room for me and my cousin, but they had enough room for my grandmother and my 2 kids. So I was like, awesome. I put them on the boat and me and my cousin was like, we'll just get like a big plastic tub with enough essentials for 5 days. And then it'll kind of float or we can kind of push it towards where they were meeting at, which was the local elementary school, which is my daughter's elementary school. But on our way out of the door, they had sent somebody back for me and my cousin. And we put our stuff on there and they got us to the elementary school. From there, my cousin's brother met us maybe like a half a mile away. And we kind of walked through the water to get to him because he couldn't get through the water to the elementary school. And, you know, we walked through there. The men helped us walk there, carried the baby for us. And her brother carried the heavy stuff we had. And we kind of stayed at his house for a couple of days until the storm blew over.
The water subsided,
yeah.
And you could get back home.
Yeah.
I'm still at work, guys. In that night where I think it was Sunday night, I end up having to stay at my patient's home for 24 hours because my relief couldn't make it in. So at that point, I'm exhausted. My family is back at the hotel and they're nervous and I'm scared because I want to get back to the hotel to my son and my fiance, and it's just kind of like I can't. But as being a nurse, I know that my patient's safety is kind of comes first. Well, my safety comes first, and taking care of the sick, it was basically my job. Monday, that was kind of more when we seen what damage was done,
yeah,
and who needed to be rescued. At that point, there was a bunch more volunteers in the Cajun Navy and a bunch of people who came in. There were people going to Academy buying boats. All the boats, canoes, anything that floats were sold out at Academy. Dick's Sporting Goods, all of the boats are sold out. There was so much people that were coming to help,
yeah,
and people came together, got boats, and they were going door to door helping people.
Yeah.
So,
and these are regular people, like you and me.
No Coast Guards, no.
I never saw any Coast Guard throughout this whole thing.
I did, but they didn't get here. I wouldn't say the Coast Guard got here until maybe Tuesday that I saw.
Yeah.
And at that point, it was 911. The news was telling us, if you have a boat, if you have this, and this, get out and go help people.
If you have a high-profile vehicle,
yes. If you have tall trucks, which is the whole Texas,
yeah.
Everybody here has trucks,
and they were out. Anybody who had a truck or a boat or a raft or a kiddie pool,
right,
got together and went to save people. I'm not talking about law enforcement. I'm talking about
your
regular
Houstonian. And
posting their phone number. Everybody
yes.
was posting phone numbers all on social media.
Yes.
And they were going to get people like they were the army.
Yes.
I mean, it was amazing.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, I'm really glad I live in a city to where we come together, little black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Indian, everybody came together, and got it done.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. The grocery stores was insane. If you didn't have food, there was no grocery stores open, maybe a couple. If you went there, you would have to wait outside in the cold rain for hours. They would only let a couple of people in at a time.
Yeah.
And it was insane. The whole process of it all was just crazy.
Right.
It was crazy, and it was just very scary. And A lot of lives were lost, and we lost a classmate of ours who graduated with us. She was actually in a nursing program with Vicky.
Yeah. Out of all of this, I do feel like Houston did really come together. Our local DJs, our local rappers, our local everybody came together. They got food, they got water, they got necessities, they got everything, and was out in the storm going around giving it to whoever needed. And I think we're just blessed. I'm glad my best friend is okay. I came out good. My family's okay. My mom's house was flooded. Her grandmother's house was flooded.
So my grandmother, I told y'all her neighborhood flooded, so she came to stay with us. Her house is completely done. Like, we're going to show you guys pictures and stuff. She had about 3 feet of water inside of her home. On the outside of her home, they said the water was like to your neck or above, like almost basically to your face. They had the Army, the National Guard, every type of enforcement or entity that could come save somebody was in my grandmother's neighborhood. That's how bad it was. We finally got there today, and I'll show you some footage. Every single house in the entire neighborhood is going to have to be gutted out completely.
I will say, find like a local charity that's accepting money. I think the JJ Watt charity is a good place to donate to.
We'll try to find some other places and put the link in the description box. And even if you see families, if y'all see families doing GoFundMes and stuff like that, I don't care if it's $5, $20. That's going to help these people who don't even have food, people who don't have blankets, who don't have baby clothes anymore, lost all their kids' new clothes and school clothes and school supplies. Every little tiny bit is going to help.
So, you know, and if you live here in Houston, it's nothing to get out there and help somebody go in their houses, clean up, and you know, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to go volunteer my services next week if I can. And
we'll both be volunteering, helping, whether we find a shelter or whether we find a family that needs us to help gut the home out or something like that. We're definitely going to make ourselves available.
At the end of the day, we made it out good, no damage, and we were fortunate enough not to have any severe damage done to anything. And we're fine. So the least we can do is just go volunteer, and that's what I plan to do. That's what we plan to do. So at FEMA we have, but you know, like I said,
we don't know how long some of this stuff is going to take, and at the end of the day, people need help right now.
So, and if it's on your heart to give, just give. If it's not, don't worry about it.
But thank you guys so much for watching us today. Again, if you have never seen me before, I am Stone. This is my channel. I do basically like beauty videos, but this is something totally different because, like you see, this is something that really affected us. My best friend Vicky, who joins me in some of my videos. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please click that subscribe button. Share my videos with others to help my channel grow. And until next time, thank you so much for rolling with Stone.